Coming up, staff of the Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital adopt coin banks to help Syrian refugee children. As COP21 meets in Paris to tackle global warming, we see how climate change affects infectious disease in Taiwan. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Dennis Wu. Thank you for joining us. In response to the Bamboo Coin Bank for Syrian Refugee Children campaign, started by the staff members of Tzu Chi Humanitarian Center, the Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital held an event to ask its staff to adopt a bamboo coin bank to contribute their love. Here's more.
Hands together in prayer, staff members of Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital gather to pray for a world free of disasters.
We are so fortunate to be living in Taiwan. There are many in the world who are not so lucky as us. Perhaps we can share our blessings with those in need.
In response to the donation drive started by staff members of the Tzu Chi Humanitarian Center, many of the medical staff at the Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital adopted a bamboo coin bank to help Syrian refugees and their children who are unable to attend school.
The children's education has been interrupted due to the ongoing conflict in their country. We, on the other hand, can pass on our blessings to them by donating into our bamboo coin bank.
The hospital plans to hold an event at the end of December to gather all the funds collected in hopes that this love from Taiwan may reach the Syrian refugees as soon as possible.
Having received Tzu Chi's rice seeds in 2010, farmers from a village in Myanmar's Tongling Township decided to reciprocate to help flood victims in northern Yangon by adopting rice banks from Tzu Chi volunteers so that they may donate their rice later.
Putting up the same Tzu Chi banner and presenting the same Tzu Chi song, volunteers are here in Taiwanese Niaodongbing village once more, but not to distribute rice seeds. Instead, they are canvassing for donations to help the flood victims in northern Myanmar.
Collectively, we can all do our share to help the needy. If we work together, then we can make a difference.
We need every farmer to pitch in to help, no matter if it's in the form of monetary donation or rice seedlings. You can bring your donation to the office, and we will give them to Tzu Chi.
When I heard Tzu Chi was here, I dropped everything and came to the gathering. I now understand that when I cook meals, I can set aside a handful of rice to donate to others, or donate some coins to help the less fortunate. Every little bit helps.
The farmers present all adopt a rice bank to pass on the love they have received from Tzu Chi to those less fortunate than them.
To help the residents of Sierra Leone, a country in West Africa that has been severely hit by the Ebola virus outbreak last year, Tzu Chi has launched a clothing drive. And it just so happened that the clothing company has 60,000 pieces of blemished yet new garments to donate to Tzu Chi. Here's more.
Last year, the Ebola virus severely affected residents in West African countries. However, it was also due to this disaster that Tzu Chi began their humanitarian assistance to Sierra Leone. To date, this love has yet to cease.
To help the residents of Sierra Leone, a business donated 60,000 pieces of new clothes. You can see behind me that there are over 100 volunteers who have formed into 11 teams to sort and package the items. About 900 boxes came from a vendor who supplies clothes to department stores and shops. The clothes were defective and usually would have been sent to the incinerators, but that's really wasteful. The volunteers have separated into 11 workstations, separating the clothes according to their types and sizes. They even have a section for children's wear.
Separating the clothes into such detail has made the entire packing process very clear and easy.
If the clothes are dirty, then we clean it before it is given to them. If we're giving someone a gift, it can't be dirty.
If a clothing item needs repairing, it is sent to the sewing area, where another team of volunteers mend and repair as necessary.
比方有的掉了一个，我们可能会换整。
If a shirt is missing a button, and we can't find a similar button for replacement, then we'll just replace the entire set. This way, it looks more uniform.
就是尽量把它做到完美。
We didn't promote this clothing drive publicly. We wanted to use the second-hand clothes sitting in our recycling stations at first.
Ironing the wrinkles out, the volunteers treat each piece of clothing as their own. It's such thoughtfulness that will surely transmit to those on the receiving end in Sierra Leone.
In the aftermath of Nepal's April earthquake, Tzu Chi volunteers in the country have taken on the task of helping out their countrymen. Recently, in preparation for Tzu Chi's distribution of prefab housing units, they visited 131 families affected by the tremor to understand their needs.
Traveling from Kathmandu to Bangamati, these Nepalese volunteers, with an average age of 20 years old, have taken on an important mission.
We are Tzu Chi volunteers.
As Tzu Chi will soon be handing out prefab housing units, they're making home visitations to understand the needs of earthquake victims.
I would like to thank everyone, also and our Tzu Chi and also Master Cheng, for giving us this opportunity to handle such a big program.
At such a young age, the Nepalese volunteers are already learning to work in harmony to accomplish an important mission, so we are deeply touched.
Back in June, local volunteers in Nepal were put in charge of an aid distribution. This time, they mindfully visited earthquake victims to assess their needs. As the volunteers shoulder more responsibilities, they're showing their potentials to deliver more assistance to their fellow countrymen along their path to recovery.
Taiwanese just love to use plastic bags. Whenever dining out or shopping, people are given a plastic bag to hold their takeout, leftover, beverages, or whatever else they may buy. However, by using plastic products to hold food and beverages, may end up poisoning ourselves. We tell you why.
食品容器的塑胶，你会怎么选择？
随便看，有没有特别选？
Plastic containers are divided into 7 major categories. Inside this hypermarket, 3 different types are used right in this section, which are 1, 6, and 7. However, they feel the same to the touch.
So just how should consumers shop if their eyes can't tell the difference?
我知道比较厚的好像比较好嘛。
Actually, the answer lies in the number on the label of these containers. In Taiwan, the numbers go from 1 to 7. Perhaps it is too difficult to know what they all mean, but just remember number 3, polyvinyl chloride, and number 6, polystyrene, are extremely toxic. Most of the food wrap on the market is made with PVC.
After being microwaved, it will release 3 to 5 times more plasticizers.
When coming into contact with fat and high temperature, PVC will release more plasticizers than other plastic goods. There is one easy way to verify whether you are using PVC containers. But first, you need a well-ventilated area and a copper wire that is well insulated on one end.
After you have heated up the wire, touch the plastic you want to test with it. The heated wire will melt away a part of the target plastic. When exposed to the fire again, the chloride from the plastic will turn the flame green.
Currently, only number 3 PVC contains chloride.
Let's try this test on a plastic bag used commonly to hold food. See? Now the wire is glowing red. Okay, once I put the wire back under the flame has really turned green.
By understanding the risk, can consumers learn to protect themselves from harm? Number 6 polystyrene is also quite dangerous. instant noodles in styrofoam bowl are still readily available in Taiwan.
Once you pour hot water into it, a lot of chemicals will be released.
The white thin plastic spoon often seen in any eatery is actually made of polystyrene as well. Carcinogens will easily be released when using the spoon to enjoy a bowl of hot soup.
Though it may claim to withstand high temperatures, in truth, it can't.
The cheap chemical compounds were never meant to be used as food additives by law. However, the law does not regulate how much plasticizers can be used in a food container. As PVC works especially well with phthalates, often more than half of a PVC container is made of this plasticizer. While MOHW is keeping track of 8 plasticizers, several hundred types are being used industrially.
Plasticizers do not bond with the chemical structure of plastic, so they are merely grafted on the plastic goods, which is why they will be released with time.
Just how can consumers protect themselves? For those that like to dine out, they should carry their own diningware made of stainless steel, ceramic, or glass. Though that may be a hassle, this is the best way to protect themselves from the threat of plasticizers.
Organizations from all over the world have once again gathered in France to attend the 2015 Paris Climate Conference, or otherwise known as COP21, which hopes to inspire citizens of the world to take action against global warming. This year, over 200 organizations have set up stalls at the conference to highlight their missions. The organizers of the conference not only use reclaimed materials for the displays, but also set up stations to raise awareness of the need to reduce our use of electricity. Here's more.
In France, over 200 exhibitors, including nonprofit organizations, have set up booths at the 2015 Paris Climate Conference. The event organizers used reclaimed wood in the colors of green and yellow as booth dividers to fit the theme of environmental conservation.
来自世界不同角落的代表
Organizations from all over the world have gathered in Paris to attend COP21. The electronic equipment that they use, such as laptops and cellular phones, uses up tons of energy. However, at the conference, we can see a stationary bike-like setup. It's not for participants to exercise with, but instead to generate energy.
Turning physical activity into energy, participants can charge their electronic device as they pedal.
那这样设计的话，其实会
Creating our own energy is a very good concept, as we can use whatever we create. It's also very fitting to the theme of this conference.
It is estimated that over 40,000 people will participate throughout COP21, and their electronic recharging stations set up here not only helps reduce the need of drawing from natural resources, but also helps participants get some exercise during the conference.
Global warming has serious implications on all aspects of human life, including infectious disease. Researchers have warned that climate change will directly affect disease transmission by shifting the vector's geographic range, which makes it easier for disease to propagate.
The most visible impact of global warming has been the intensification of weather and climate extremes. Researchers have warned that climate change directly affects disease transmission, putting humans and all living species at risk.
温度会升高。
The rising temperatures and sporadic rainfall has created the perfect breeding ground for mosquitoes and insects.
That's me! Get up, plankton!
The figure in the animation, plankton, actually belongs to a class of organisms known as copepods in real life. Together with paradise fish, they're known to control disease-bearing mosquitoes. However, as temperatures continue to soar rapidly, a temperature rise of just 1 degree Celsius will expand the geographical range of dengue exposure in Taiwan.
Just in the last century alone, the temperature has risen by 0.6 degrees Celsius. Currently, yellow fever mosquitoes are mainly found in the Jiayi area. However, if temperatures continue to rise, They will likely migrate north, and we have to have measures in place for that.
As vector mosquitoes breed quickly and rapidly, researchers are concerned that infectious diseases will spread faster in the near future. It is estimated that by 2030, 170 million people in Africa will have died from malaria, and by 2080, total number of global dengue cases will reach 2 billion.
When the temperature reaches 30 degrees Celsius, the spread of vector-borne disease will increase and accelerate the mosquito's breeding cycle. Although we implement preventative measures each year, we need to recognize epidemics early.
Clearly, global warming is changing the epidemiology of infectious diseases, and the ability of mankind to react or adapt is dependent on our ability to recognize epidemics early and for everyone to confront the long-term threat of global warming.
We now turn our attention to the United States, where a proposed resort to be built on the rim of the Grand Canyon on the indigenous Navajo land has conservationists worry about the load it would place on the Colorado River, which is named the nation's most endangered river by American rivers.
This tall little Colorado River, it meets the greater Colorado River. And where they meet, because they're male and female, when they meet, life comes from there, all life. Once the journey is done here, then the spirits, they go back.
The snowpack from Colorado, snowpack from Wyoming and Utah all drains a huge multi-100,000 square mile area, and it all ends up here in Lake Powell. From here it goes through the turbines. Glen Canyon Dam is a hydroelectric dam and flows down into the Grand Canyon. I'm St. John Eberly. I'm the communications director for the Intermountain West for American Rivers. In 2015, American Rivers named the Colorado River in the Grand Canyon as the nation's most endangered river. Factor number one was the proposal to build what's called the Grand Canyon Escalade.
The Escalade development is a proposed high-end resort on the rim of the Grand Canyon on Navajo land with a tramway that travels down to the river in the bottom of the Grand Canyon.
Linking those two things together is a gondola that could carry up to 10,000 people per day down to that site.
And that would be the main attraction that people would come from around the world as a destiny resort, not unlike what's been developed in the western part of the Grand Canyon by the Hualapai tribe and the Grand Canyon Skywalk.
And our questions come up with that is, okay, 10,000 people a day, where is that sewage going to go? They haven't answered those questions. Where's the water going to go?
Even before human-caused climate change, this has been an arid region, and water is the limiting factor. So when you talk about putting thousands of water consumers in a very tightly clustered space, and you don't have a solution for obtaining water other than to pump scarce groundwater supplies that supply the springs in the Grand Canyon, then you've got a serious problem.
Then they say, well, we'll drill wells. Here it's 1,000 feet into the ground, and those aquifers feed all the springs in the canyon. It's already being depleted.
Lake Powell has an elevation where the lake is full. Right now, you can see with what's called the bathtub ring behind me, you can see about a 50-foot white stripe. Those are mineral deposits that have been left from the time when the lake was full, maybe in the 70s and 80s and 90s. Now, with the drought and with the use of the Colorado River, the lake level is much, much lower, and you can see the water that's not currently sitting in Lake Powell.
The developers have had in Arizona particularly kind of free rein to propose something, and the water will follow. It's not okay to just go ahead and say, well, we'll throw money at it when we get to it. We've got to draw the line somewhere. The Grand Canyon is the place to draw the line.
Continuing our series on young vegetarians, today we meet 7-year-old Chen Yanzhen, who adopted a vegetarian diet after joining a sutra adaptation performance 2 years ago. Yanzhen hopes her classmates will also join her in going meatless, so that animals won't get killed. Here's more of her story.
I am Chen Yanzhen, and I'm 7 years old. I am happy to adopt a vegetarian diet so animals won't get killed.
I remember that when she was at the babysitter's place as a 2-year-old, she would feel uncomfortable when I added beef to her food. It happened several times, and I could not figure out why. Last year was the year 2014. She began to adopt a meatless diet after joining the sutra adaptation. Up to 2015, this should count as her second year embracing vegetarianism.
Animals will be sad if we ate them. It would be impossible for us to save them even if we wanted to, because we've eaten them already.
The elders in the family thought it might not be a good idea for a child to adopt a vegetarian diet at such a young age. Then it just happens that we know a vegetarian restaurant in Danshui, so we just prepare containers and ask the restaurant owner to pack lunch boxes for us. Besides providing us with a balanced meals with items from different food groups, she also adds hash browns, which children like, so my child really enjoys the meals.
If I prepare a variety of food items, other children who have not adopted a vegetarian diet can see that vegetarian meals can be just as delicious. So I try to prepare food that children like.
Some of her classmates are very curious about her meals, and her lunch is different from theirs. So some of them take a look at her food and also want to try vegetarian food.
I share my food because I hope that everyone will adopt a vegetarian diet, so we don't have to kill animals. And also, if we kill animals, the master will be very sad. We want the master to see that we're adopting a vegetarian diet, then the animals won't suffer.
Yanzhen suffered from hives a while ago, and we could not find the cause. We let her take a blood test, and when her test results came back, we were surprised to find out that she is actually allergic to meat.
Animals can play happily in the zoo. I believe everyone can join me in adopting a vegetarian diet. Do not eat meat.
And in today's program, we travel to Malacca, Malaysia for the last day of this year's Tzu Chi Parent-Child class. Goodbye.